So, welcome everyone to the first episode of fjalla-la, the first episode of our podcast, an open format. An open format we want to establish to make it more transparent for everybody what we are doing, actually what is Fjalla, give you an idea, like frequently asked questions more or less, and give you the first overview and use this format to keep you up to date on what's happening at Fjalla. So, me myself, I'm Fabio, and this is the founder of Fjalla, Markus.
Yeah. Thank you, Fabio. Hello, welcome everybody. We are back here. For me, it feels that we are back in the holy halls where anything started in the SAE, but we are now right now at the SAE Hamburg. I was at SAE Berlin, where more or less my journey to Fjalla started, because that was the point when I started to study at SAE music business. I studied music business, and that was the point when I really found out why artists get paid really, really unfair and how you can change that. Yeah.
So, what is Fjalla?
Yeah, that's basically Fjalla, because Fjalla is what helps artists to go against that unfair payout of the music streaming services. And Fjalla is, I would say, of course, a music streaming service for that, helping artists making a living from music streaming. But I would say Fjalla is also more like that. Fjalla is a movement.
It's all about fair payment, Fjalla is all about fair payment of treating artists a fair way and making it possible that they really can make a living out of their art, right? So we are having like a huge issue here, right, in the industry. So whoever is a music artist will probably know that, like you experienced it, that when you want to sell your art, there is a problem. Yeah. So when you have music streaming as the only way to monetize your art, you have the payouts of Spotify is the most common platform or the most known platform, and you get paid very little as an artist. Probably the consumers, the fans don't know it, but there's a gap, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, of course, you can also make a living from getting books, getting gigs, and be booked by agencies and having tours and concerts. But for me, it was when I was an artist, I always was more the producer. I always was more the creator who loved to go to the studio and create something new. Letting my creative power happening instead of the performing power on stage. And I think it's really unfair that the creators don't get really paid and get the value for what they are doing in the studio, but the performers, who are often not the creators, just the singer is sometimes just singing what the songwriters wrote for them, that they can make a good living from the gigs. The value of what is created in the studio and what is released on the platforms is really, there's a disharmony of that. Yeah. So, and we can bring that disharmony to a harmony again and pay anyone the same price. It doesn't matter if you are Dua Lipa or if you are a little independent artist. Yeah. Nobody knows you, but you get the same price paid out than Dua Lipa, and that's not happening right now on the pro rata system of Spotify and the other platforms.
So what's the status quo? So how is it working actually right now? So you have already heard it. On Spotify, the artist gets paid out $0.003 dollar, right? Which is a fraction of what everybody else in the value chain is earning. And basically, like, how does Fjalla work? What does Fjalla make different? And what's the impact, basically?
Yeah. I would say the first impact is that if you just imagine that you give someone a service and this person wants to pay you $0.003 dollar, and that's a number which a normal human can't take. That's the first impact, I would say.
How much would you get paid on Fjalla?
And on Fjalla you get 1.2 cents. So 400
4 times what you would get.
4 times more. Yeah.
4 times more.
Or in a better comparison is like on Spotify, for example, with 1 million streams, you can make 3,000 euro. On Fjalla, with 1 million streams, you can get 12,000 euro. And that's big, crazy.
I mean, for if you are already big and you have 1 million streams, that's cool to just get more. So it benefits everyone. But what about people, for example, I believe it's very important also for people that have 10,000 streams, like indie artists who way more early are able to monetize on their art and actually, pick up traction more early. Can you give me an example for that? Like what kind of artists benefit from that?
Yeah, because you already mentioned like the impact of it. With 10,000 streams on Fjalla, you can get 120 euro. That's maybe 1/4 of an income of a half-time job here in Germany, but it's a totally income of a whole family in the favela of Brazil or in the slums of South Africa. So if
where people are living off $100 a month, and so they could actually live from the music. So they could already make a living from their art, and you could directly contribute and help someone by enjoying and consuming their music to make a living and really have an impact on that end. So I think that's really cool. So maybe can you tell me a little bit about like how hard is it to get on Fjalla? Is there any licensing, or are you locked in to some degree, or who can use it, and what's the catch there?
Anyone who wants to release music and who don't is using any copyright safe music where the rights are not cleared, so you of course shouldn't copyright something. But if you are making music and you want to bring it to life, bring it to people, release it in an easy way and get paid directly for that, you can do that. We don't do any agreements with the people. We don't do any content with the people. If you are on a label or you got publishers, of course you got the deals with them. But that is something that you need to clear before you load up on our platform, because that's something
but they can also use it, right?
They can also use it, exactly. And exactly, that's the thing. If you have like, for example, 50-50 deal with your label, it's still that the label and you benefit from that if you release it, because 4 times more, exactly.
All right. So what else? Like in the beginning you opened up a little bit with it, like why and how did you get to this idea? So what's your driving reason? What's your motivation to build Fjalla, and where did it come from?
I have a deep belief in making the world is kind of unfair, and that anything that you can do to make a better world and a more fair world should be done. And when I was an artist, I mentioned already that I really love to go to the studio and create music, but I couldn't make a living out of that.
You were a DJ and producer,
right? Exactly. I was a techno DJ producer. I started with hip-hop beats when I was 13, building hip-hop beats at home with my friend. Then my friend bring a mic. Then I was starting rapping. I was writing lyrics, and German language is really nice.
What
really
accent
nice.
did it have? Like, did it go well?
Like the lyrics were like Goethe, but the voices were like a flöte. Were like shit.
Streams wise,
Yeah.
I imagine that was the point when you experienced yourself the problem. Every artist I'm talking about, or at least they are angry. They have like a fist in the pocket, and they are angry because they can't make a living off the music. I assume for you it was the same, and then you went studying, and that's where you found these nitty-gritty details, like why the industry is rotten and why the industry is doing or going like that. And there's so many levels, and musicians know it. They know the problem, they know the issue. The consumers, they probably don't know it, but you already explained to me that many different layers behind Spotify. So Spotify is taking a cut, then the labels, the distributors, like everyone is taking a cut, and then in the end the artist is left with nearly nothing, right? And what we are doing here with Fjalla is just skipping all that, and I believe it makes total sense, because why should a musician not be able to just live off his music? And why does he have to go like all around the corner, around 3-4 corners, to lend money, to create an event, to have a venue, to then to then monetize on the music and just have streaming as creating outreach? I believe that nowadays, I kind of want to think about how people live in the future. And I believe in the future, people, that's why Fjalla makes so much sense for me. People in the future already are doing that. They are influencers, right? So they have access to the internet. Everybody can start releasing stuff on the internet, and millions of people can see it. So very often what we're experiencing now is Kenya Grace, Agu, and those people, they just come out of nothing with like 5 million followers, right? And then I'm asking myself, why would they need a label? Like, they just need a monetizing platform. And of course they could use Patreon, but again, that's just a workaround around the corner to somehow get a regular living for your music. Why can't you just get paid fairly directly for the music, one-to-one, pay-per-stream? I think that's the solution.
Yeah, exactly. And even if they use Patreon, it's not another streaming service. It's just an add-on to the current streaming service. So it's not like still release your music on Spotify and still don't get paid there, fair. Just use Patreon as a plus and support me there. But then you can also support some, I don't know, YouTubers on Patreon. So it's not like a social media platform for music-based content. That's something that Fjalla is, because we are a music streaming service where artists get the opportunity to get paid fair, in a fair and direct way. But they can also monetize other things there. Later on, more to that. But
get first one thing done. I think
exactly,
that's great.
Exactly, definitely. I mean, the journey is long. We got the opportunity to really disrupt the industry, but this is something like that's not happening from you wake up tomorrow and something, the world is changing. This is something you need a deep breathe, and that breathe maybe takes like 10 years.
Well, let's not wait 10 years. So tell me a little bit about the traction, where we are right now. I believe we have awesome news to share. There is already a couple of artists who have embarked our journey, who are supporting us. I mean, that's, I think, a good point to also explain. I believe that Fjalla will go to the market through the superfan concept. We believe that when artists, they really want to monetize on a new release, they first release on Fjalla, they monetize on it, and I believe that a good chunk of the superfans will just take the consideration to just download a new app, to be able to support and to listen to the new content from their favorite artists. So that's the way we're gonna go to the market. And maybe there's now 55,000 artists lined up that we have access to for Fjalla. We are welcoming every one of you who's an artist to just come on board. That's exactly what we need, artists who want to publish their music on Fjalla and earn more, right? And the other stuff we are looking for, of course, we are a young startup, we are a young team, we need assistance. So if you are by any chance a coding music lover, feel free to reach out. I believe we also plan to, like this format here, we just made it, we wanted it to be as transparent as possible. And we want to regularly, on a regular basis, give you such updates about what we are doing, how the company is developing, what's our progress, and giving you an understanding of of our strategy here, and try to be as transparent as possible. And we want you to be included in our journey. So that's also the reason why we created a Reddit board. I think we can link it under the video, so you can get involved, you can get in touch with us. We are looking for people who want to be early alpha testers for the app. So whoever really burns for this vision as we do, you are happily invited to join us and contribute whatever you think you can contribute, right?
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. And if you also find out that your favorite artist or one artist that you like is releasing music on Fjalla, please don't hesitate and don't wait to come over and create an account and support this music on our platform, because otherwise this artist maybe don't make music again after 1 year, because they release music, but nothing comes up, and then they are so frustrated and then they stop releasing music and they stop bringing some value for that to you. So that's the current situation of music streaming services, that they destroy value of the music and destroy visions of really creative people and creative musicians. And that's why maybe somewhere you don't get any nice music more out of them. So please come over and support them. You don't just listen to music on our platform, you really support unsupported people, and that's really important. And the other thing is, as you mentioned,
there's also big artists who understand the problem, right? There's Taylor Swift releasing her album before she brings it to Spotify. She releases it on her website. There's different artists doing that already, right? So they know there is an issue. Feel free to tag them and make them aware of us, right? So they don't have to release on their website. They can use Fjalla to monetize, right? I mean, let's wrap it up. That's a good first intro. Thanks to anyone who followed us until now, and I guess.
Yeah, definitely. We will keep you updated what's happening when we are going to launch. And this time we are really updating you when we are really going to launch, and not like we did last time telling you that we are going to launch in September. Sorry again for that. That was a kind of mistake. We calculated in a wrong way. But that's a journey and a learning of what we are doing right now, because we also, like you mentioned,
development takes longer than expected.
Development takes longer. We are a young startup. We also need to do.
What are we aiming?
You just need to. It's like about you. You can do mistakes, but you shouldn't do mistakes twice to get successful. That's something.
So what are we gonna do? Should we say? Should we now say a time frame for a first release, open alpha? So just keep the eyes open somewhere in Q1 25. And I think the best way to stay in touch with us and notice when we actually releasing is signing up on fjalla.net. There's a newsletter or a email registration, a form where you can register, and then you will be notified once the app is released. I would say that's it.
Yeah, definitely. That's it.